Did you see what's going on? I mean, obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas. A speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's
really?
Oh.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
It started with a smug little smirk, but by the end, it was total destruction. Somewhere in the chaos, Gavin Newsom completely forgot which camera to panic into. And yes, it was obvious. Joe Rogan stormed in like a wrecking ball, throwing facts like they were steel kettlebells. Then Greg Gutfeld jumped in, dropping punchlines sharper than California's tax hikes. What came next? Not just a takedown, but a slow-motion policy explosion that left nothing standing. And no, not even Newsom's concrete-layered hair gel could shield him from this disaster. Get your popcorn, because this wasn't just a clash, it was a full-blown meltdown.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
Cut to Gavin Newsom. The camera zooms in like his hairline is about to broker peace talks with a bottle of premium conditioner. He's locked in at the podium, glowing with the confidence of a man who thinks the planet spins just to hear him talk. And then, bam! The voiceover crashes down like a thunderclap wrapped in sarcasm. Because once Rogan and Gutfeld set their sights on California's Sparkle Prince, this wasn't a panel. It was a full-blown televised demolition derby in designer suits. Not a debate. A gleaming wrecking ball swinging straight through Newsom's political facade.
But
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes, 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 yes.
Was it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that list.
Let's talk about Gavin. The man struts into every room like it's a fashion show called Big Government, the Runway Edition. He's mastered the politician's holy trinity. That toothpaste commercial smile, those TED Talk sound bites, and a leadership style that freezes like a buffering video. On paper, he's the darling of progressive politics. Oozing charm, spouting climate buzzwords, and probably carrying a wallet made of recycled award certificates. But peel away that glossy surface, and what do you get? More showmanship than substance.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have. Everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plans.
Watch this.
And don't even get started on his climate speeches. Gavin's got enough eco-promises to stock an entire Whole Foods. Yet California's power grid is so weak, a stiff breeze sends it into meltdown mode. Go electric, they shout, then warn everyone not to charge their cars between 4 and 9 p.m. because the sun clocked out early. Peak irony? banning gas stoves while half the state cooks dinner by flashlight. It's not policy, it's climate theater. And everyone's stumbling around the stage, in the dark.
And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently. And people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Tyrus, did he leave out anything?
He didn't just leave California. He escaped like a man who spotted a glitch in the Matrix and slammed the emergency exit. And honestly, who could blame him? When your state starts looking more like a Fallout game than a coastal paradise, even a sauna-loving elk-hunting podcast, King has to call it quits. Rogan hit the gas, flew down Interstate 10, and never looked back. He traded smog and scripts for Texas freedom, like a UFC fighter dropping kale for red meat. And he didn't sneak away quietly. He brought the loudest mic on earth, the Joe Rogan Experience. This isn't just some podcast. It's a juggernaut with over 100 million listeners and an algorithm that haunts CNN's dreams. Rogan's secret weapon, no filters, all fire, and a thundering, "What is happening?" Nothing lit his fuse faster than Newsom's lockdown logic. Meanwhile, Gavin was sipping wine like it was the gourmet end of the world. Rogan saw the hypocrisy and called it out so hard the French Laundry nearly shut down in shame.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to John. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think like 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush.
And Rogan didn't show up alone. He brought the heavy artillery. Doctors, economists, comedians with sarcasm degrees, all painting one jaw-dropping picture. California's rules? They made less sense than a TikTok finance guru with a cartoon face filter. Small businesses were crushed while megacorporations danced right through. Health guidelines? Like they were pulled from a magic 8-ball. Random, vague, and perfectly inconvenient. And every baffling order came with that bright white grin from the guy who thought styling gel could fix broken trust. Then came the mass tech exit, a 21st century Oregon Trail, only this time it was Teslas instead of wagons. Rogan didn't just talk the talk. He packed up and moved his entire studio to Austin, where blackouts weren't part of the daily schedule. California had become hostile to innovation and allergic to freedom. And Rogan's most powerful argument wasn't a graph or a quote. It was his own life.
So, while Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary politician.
He didn't need to shout. He didn't need theatrics. He just looked around, grabbed the mic, and said what everyone already knew. This isn't working. And then, boom, Greg Gutfeld enters. Like a raccoon with a vendetta and a PhD in mockery. He doesn't scream, he slices. With a smirk, a jab, and eyes that could curdle almond milk. Gutfeld is a 5-star takedown served cold, topped with slick hair and perfect timing. He saw Gavin's polished glow and said what millions were thinking. The guy looks like a cologne ad. and governs like he's stuck playing SimCity blindfolded. He pulled back the curtain. There's Newsom grinning on Vanity Fair, but behind him, tent cities, boarded-up shops, human waste, and juice bars trying to survive the apocalypse. It's dystopia with a yoga mat. And Gavin, still smiling like he solved homelessness with scented candles and a positive affirmation.
About anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, you can't, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
But Gutfeld didn't stop at the sparkle. He went straight for the throat. And that target? The media's love affair with Gavin. Legacy outlets treat him like he's JFK reincarnated, but with better teeth and a reusable tote bag. In reality, it's chaos wrapped in a spray tan. Gutfeld's monologues weren't just funny. They stung. He tore into the glowing headlines praising Gavin's bold leadership, while real people were stuck juggling gas bills, skyrocketing rent, and panic at the grocery store. Families could barely afford milk. But hey, here's another magazine spread about how visionary his vibes are. Then came the climate comedy. Gutfeld went full beast mode, blasting through buzzwords like solar dreams and carbon equity with the energy of a caffeine-fueled truth sniper. Everything sounds magical, until you ask who's footing the bill. While regular folks drown in fines and blackout schedules, bureaucrats cruise around in hybrids like they're starring in a sci-fi fantasy. Charging stations, still mostly mythical. Gutfeld didn't just expose it, he shredded it. This wasn't saving the planet. It was curating an Instagram feed.
When Gavin Newsom talks about California, he's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too expensive. Believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
Then came the most brutal hit of all, Gavin's White House fantasy. Whispers of 2028 swirl around him like incense at a yoga retreat, but Gutfeld isn't buying a word of it. He roasted the idea that the guy who can't manage a single state is somehow ready to run the entire country. He's running all right, Gutfeld snapped, but it's from accountability, not for president. The punchlines wrote themselves. Newsom's White House dream is like opening a franchise of a restaurant that just failed 3 health inspections. Sure, the sign's shiny, but the kitchen's filthy, the freezer's busted, and the Yelp reviews are pure fire. Literally. Gutfeld didn't just land jokes. He detonated reality. Every zinger came wrapped in a truth bomb Gavin's PR squad couldn't spin. And then, it happened. The team-up no one saw coming, but everyone secretly wanted. Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld collided like twin wrecking balls and crushed the shimmering illusion of Gavin Newsom. Rogan brought the facts. Gutfeld brought the flames. And together, they proved that Newsom's leadership doesn't just miss, it deletes the whole target.
Runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow balls.
He didn't shout. He didn't throw a tantrum. He just spoke with that calm, steady voice. The kind that hits harder than any scream. People are leaving. Businesses are fleeing. Homelessness is exploding. I moved for a reason. That tone? It landed like a sledgehammer wrapped in velvet. Rogan wasn't trying to entertain. And that's what made it sting even more. Then Gutfeld jumped in. With the same precision, but a totally different flavor. Where Rogan quietly broke it down like a logic surgeon, Gutfeld stormed in like a comic with the worst government script ever, reading it line by line with a face that said, "Can you believe this?" Rogan reached the thinkers, the ones hungry for facts, receipts, and reality. Gutfeld grabbed the skeptics, the the crowd that tuned out mainstream news when slogans turned into chaos. Rogan's fans dropped charts and clips. Gutfeld's fans just pointed to the flaming mess and said, "There it is."
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years due to disruption.
But no matter how they approached it, Rogan with cold precision or Gutfeld with blazing sarcasm, they hit the same brutal truth. Gavin Newsom isn't leading, he's performing. And the reviews? 2 giant thumbs down. This isn't basic failure, it's failure with glitter on top. He's like a movie trailer that promises a masterpiece, then delivers 90 minutes of confusion, slow motion, and empty slogans. Rogan and Gutfeld weren't fooled for a second. They came from opposite angles, but they saw the same smoke and mirrors, and tore through it like pros. Gavin's the walking, talking version of all style, no substance. Speech after speech, with no results in sight. And when these two ripped off the shiny mask, it wasn't just commentary, it was a full-on political intervention. One used a wrench, the other a chainsaw. And what they uncovered had people across the spectrum nodding in unified disbelief.
You know, when I went there, I had a great relationship with President Xi. We got along very well. And they treated me better than anybody's ever been treated. And I said, this air is good. Do you know they closed every factory 1 week before I got there from within 200 miles?
That's like what Gavin Newsom did when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco.
He cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up. He got rid of all the homeless
Isn't that terrible
people.
in a way to think, you know? He cleaned it up and then it became a pigsty.
Well, the dumbest thing is he said when your friends come by, when you have visitors, you clean up your house. Like, how about just keep your fucking house clean?
Can you imagine?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever
I
heard.
keep bringing up Gavin. Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it.
Suddenly, it was like the entire political universe clicked into place. Libertarians, conservatives, burned-out millennials, disillusioned hipsters, even that barista who swore off politics after the last election. They were all nodding in stunned agreement. Different backgrounds, same reaction. They all realized something huge. Maybe the real crisis wasn't just failed leadership. Maybe the real disease was political theater itself. And just when you thought it couldn't go any further, boom! The final montage hits like a cinematic knockout. At that point, it wasn't about who won. It was about what got exposed. Gavin Newsom didn't just take heat, he got completely decoded. The glossy curtain dropped, and all that remained was filters, flash, and fake solutions. Rogan might drop a full episode called California Collapse, Volume 2. Gutfeld could spin it into a viral skit. Gavin's Glamour Tour, Homelessness Edition. And Gavin? Will he change? Rethink? Reflect? Of course not. He'll probably post a wind turbine selfie with a caption like, "Leading with Vision," because in the end, that's the act. And Gavin? He never stops performing,